Uniswap team has launched the Uniswap Foundation through an on-chain proposal that passed with a lot of money behind it. I think like $80 million is now dedicated towards this foundation, which is going to assist Uniswap Labs and the Uniswap Grants Foundation in order to basically enlarge the scope of the Uniswap community and allow them to move a lot of that huge slush fund they have into the right pockets for developing more things for the Uniswap exchange. Uniswap itself is probably the largest and most important application on top of Ethereum at this point. Maybe some other ones are up there as well, like Curve, I don't know, maybe Tornado Cash until a few weeks ago. Uniswap essentially allows anyone to trade a token for another token, and you can do it permissionlessly and very easily. Importantly, they have this other token called Uni, which is supposed to be a governance token, but to date, it's been basically worthless. It's more than just like an associated token that's had a decent price attached to it. They haven't really done anything with it. And so a lot of people over the last few months have been wondering, what should we do with the Uni token? How do we use the Uni token to grow the Uniswap community and grow the Uniswap protocol? And that's where the idea with the Uniswap Foundation came about. So far, this idea has been a little bit polarizing because there's a ton of money in the Uniswap treasury and it's just been sitting there. And people are thinking, hey, this might be used for bad purposes that are not going to help the community out. Wendy, I'm going to throw the story up to you, get your take.
One of the things that I first thought about when you're talking about the story is I love development. And I think that it's important that they utilize some of these funds for development to continue growing, to continue working with the community, et cetera. But at the same time, I also thought it was interesting that you said that they just were letting the treasury or the token sit. And maybe they were doing that because they knew that laws and regulations are coming and they have to be very, very careful on how they execute that. As we've seen with Tornado Cash, it seems that there is a war against code, against free thinking, against building in the crypto space. So maybe they were waiting for the right time to kind of execute this or to start to build it. That's just kind of my thoughts.
I'll take it. So Uniswap is, a DeFi blue chip, right? Top 5 projects easily in terms of total value locked. They've been at it for a while. They sort of changed the game with the Uni token launch. It is really interesting to see that one of the key focus areas of this effort from the foundation is improving the governance process, right? I think we've seen a lot of DeFi governance that really has been kind of like, underutilized, right? So the ability for them to pump some funds into the ecosystem to build projects that support a more robust governance dynamic, I think that's going to be great and should be a template for the DeFi space writ large. Super interesting to see this. The foundation is a core aspect of some of these protocols that purport to be public goods, right? These are the key pipes that undergird the entire crypto ecosystem, right? This is a protocol that exchanges a lot of value, that turns one token to the next, and is something that is used and valued by a lot of folks across the crypto space. So to build out that public good, that infrastructure piece, something like this certainly makes sense, and it's good to see them take action to build out. Will, what's up?
Yeah, this one's interesting because I think there's a little bit more information like underneath the covers if you just lift them a bit and ask like what's going to happen with this money, right? So Uniswap, they launched this token back in 2020. There's a whole backstory here with another exchange called SushiSwap, basically fighting between the two of them, and Uniswap issued its own token in order to sort of defeat SushiSwap. And today it basically has. And now they're sitting around with this giant token, this giant Uni allocation. They don't know what to do with it, right? And it's supposed to be used for the community to develop the ecosystem, to enlarge in the brand. But how do you do that in a decentralized community? That's very difficult. And we've seen that issue come up time and time again, going all the way back to the early Bitcoin days where we saw some firms have Bitcoin allocations and they're like, what do we do with this? Do we make a decentralized exchange? Do we make NFTs? Do we make branding, promotions, marketing, events, stuff like that? It's hard to do because you want to get people to use your protocol and enlarge your protocol, but you don't know how to spend this money correctly. And at the end of the day, someone's going to have to hold this money. So we've seen a lot of foundations pop up with a lot of money, but to date, a lot of these things don't do that much for the community, arguably, right? A lot of times, the only thing that leads to a protocol or an app taking off is the protocol or the app itself working correctly. Arguably, that's the only reason Uniswap has done so well is because it's so easy to use, it's frictionless. You just pop in, swap some money, get off of it. You don't even need the Uni token. So it's a little superfluous. We'll see what happens with this foundation. I'm not bearish on it, but I just don't expect this to do anything that other foundations have done, which to date is not much. Jen, I'll give it to you, but I'll saw Wendy's hand go up.
Yeah, Jen, take it all.
Yeah, I'll go super quickly. I mean, Zach took the words right out of my mouth. I think that these are the little kinks that we're going to see for the foreseeable future. I hate to be the one who says this again, but we're still so early and there's still so many problems to solve when we're talking about governance tokens and decentralization and DAOs. And so I zeroed in on a quote that I'm going to get in trouble for right now because I didn't let Control know I was going to say it, but it's a short one. So the quote is, "There's no organization within the Uniswap ecosystem focused on reducing the friction in governance." And that is one area the foundation will be focused on and is excited to work on. I think we're going to see more developer grants and more money pour into people who are trying to solve, tooling when it comes to figuring out that friction with governance. We've spoken a lot on the show about this decentralized governance. Is it really decentralized? Is it really achieving all of these lofty goals that we talk about? Are community members really engaged? And I think the answer is no. But if we are able to invest more money into developers who are looking to solve some of these problems, I think that is a good thing. But I don't think we're going to see any solutions anytime soon, unfortunately. Wendy, what do you think?
I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what Will said. I think that the release of the Uni token was really genius marketing. We saw a lot of projects giving airdrops during that time. So I guess what they did was, instead of spending money for marketing, they kind of they actually created money to give away for marketing, if that makes any sense. It was an interesting tactic though, and I do like airdrops.
We all love those airdrops, except for tax season. It kind of blows when that comes around. Tough nuts.